can turn your everyday business spending into real financial progress. With the
and walk away either due to apathy or lack of spending capital. I support a team that's just going to bounce the playoffs in 2 or 3 games. The average fan doesn't want to spend money on mediocrity. By 1980, nothing made it work. Fans had become captivated by other teams. But just like General Sherman, the Flames purchased the city for $16 million. They were moving to Calgary. Whenever fan base was left that only bitterly watches the team eventually get the playoff success that could have captivated the locals. Imagine if that 1981 run happened earlier. Perhaps the Flames would have stayed in Atlanta longer, possibly permanently, but it wasn't meant to be. Hockey would get another chance here, however. The year was 1999. The NHL, eager to expand their product into untapped markets, decided to give Atlanta another chance. But even this early, I start to realize something. The chance to leak into the city was hollow. If you were to consider the expansion draft that Atlanta had to choose from, it was pretty bad. The year before, Nashville had the main picking. Even they had been split. The NHL itself didn't help matters. Any team that had lost a goalie in the expansion draft in Nashville was exempt from offering one to Atlanta. So there goes 5 teams goalies out the back. The other pickings were pretty slick. Prospects with limited upside, past prime veterans, or impending free. The only real player I can see with young and good at long-term impact is Sergei Krimer, and New Jersey wanted to protect him. They offered Atlanta Sergei Shekovich instead. Did a whole lot of nothing for the Thrashers. There was also Igor Larionov available, but would he stay in Atlanta? Not that it mattered. Detroit traded all Samuelson's expiring contract to become himself. Don Waddell was the GM. The opening round was rough, but his true test was coming up. 1999 was an incredibly weak year for the NHL draft, but he held the #1 pick after a trade with Vancouver. The team's first ever selection, Patrick Stepan. He did not have. Unless you want to come to me world on a different team, then maybe you can argue instantly. Same cannot be said for the Thrashers in their first few years. That Greg Ferraro's re-emergence, there was little to be excited for. They lost. And lost. And lost more than that. It allowed them to pick up some nice talents in the draft like Ilya Kovalchuk, Danny Heatley, and Kari Lettman, but there wasn't much else coming. The Thrashers had a deadly sin. They couldn't draft outside the first round. Sometimes they couldn't even draft properly in the first round. If you were to name the non-first round players who have played over 100 games for the team in their draft, you can count them on one hand until 2009. Jonathan Exelby, Pasi Nervinen, Toby Enstrom, Andre Pavlek, Paul Postman, Ben Sherratt. That's throughout their entire history in Atlanta. That is fucking terrible. The only impact players here were Enstrom and Maybe Pop. All that the Thrashers had was a black eye. September 29, 2003, Danny Heatley and Dave Snyder were involved in a car crash. Heatley had been driving recklessly down suburban Atlanta and the car struck a wall, splitting in half. At least for Heatley, he only suffered injuries taking him out of the season. Dan Snyder wasn't as lucky. He suffered septic shock and died 5 days later. The young franchise now had a dark chapter to begin. The city of Thrashers rallied around Heatley. Even for all of the love and support, Danny didn't want to be reminded of the tragedy and requested a trade. The sharp blow, he got shipped to Ottawa for Marion Hossa and Raymond Free. Hossa was great, but not the same as a homegrown player like he. Drama of that day lingered on, and it may have affected fans as well. Amplifying factors was one related to the low payrolls and piss poor drafting. They didn't win. They had upside in the mid-2000s, but they could never capitalize on it due to elements in and out of their control. Unlike their previous iteration, the Thrashers only made the playoffs once in 2007. They were swept. It's not like they didn't try. Don Waddell brought in veterans to get the team going. Bobby O'Leary, Walter Kozlov, Steve Gilchuk, Alexei Shiznik, who they traded Brady Coburn for. The idea was right, but without true support, the team itself was hollow. Atlanta brings in all these veterans, but let's go march the art after a breakout season. They had high-end skill, but little depth. So they would usually miss the postseason, even if it was only by 2 points like in 2006. They were mediocre, the worst place to be for a team. If only that was nothing. We need to rewind a few years back to 2003. The Thrashers' original owner at Time Warner was going through chaotic issues of their own. They needed to cut assets due to their disastrous merger with AOL. So there goes the Thrashers and hopped onto the market. You know where this is going. Hell itself was about to enter the picture. Nightmare ownership group that put more effort into fighting each other than they did support the city. Atlanta's Spirit. A collective of businessmen from Atlanta, DC, and Boston have banded together to buy the Thrashers and Hawks. All you have to do is mention this name to anyone in Atlanta. There will be choice words used. Right after that 2007 season, Atlanta's Spirit was remarkably chaotic. Somehow they cared even less for their hockey team than anything else. The only thing the relentless flinging of lawsuits did was wreck their financial strength. Don Waddell had no one to answer to but one directive: reduce payroll. The Thrashers allegedly lost $20 million in 2007. Struggling in 2008 gave them the impetus to trade them towards the incredibly lopsided deal. Marion also was a free agent after the season, so it was a good excuse to send him to Pittsburgh for a package that included next to nothing. Waddell was even so kind as to throw in Pascal Dupuis so he could reemerge as a quality wing. But his double-trip demands were too rich for the team. The result was him being exiled to New Jersey for almost nothing. Sorry, Ledman moved for roughly nothing. Most of the veteran acquisitions were let go in free agency for nothing. Yet their apparent answer to all of this was grossly overpaying Ron Haynes. He sent the team back years. It's all thanks to the worthless folks at Atlanta Spirit for not investing in scouting and development. Here's my question, though. If the Thrashers had lost $130 million since you bought the teams, then why the hell did the Hawks sign Joe Johnson to that exorbitant contract? You knew Johnson wasn't worth anywhere close to that, yet Atlanta Spirit approved it anyway? Why should Atlanta support the Thrashers when ownership doesn't give a fuck? So people would slowly walk away from the team after winning the 70s. It wasn't like they were missing much. The team was pretty shit by this point. So as a result of dwindling attendance, the Thrashers were forced to resort to gimmicky marketing tactics that were desperate at best and tone-deaf at worst. 48-year-old Chris Cheliak, the mascot, getting arrested in a low-speed chase in a Zamboni, marketing the black players to appeal to the urban crowd. Even the GM is holding up signs begging them to come to games. Players changed, coaches changed, Rick Dudley became GM, and Don Waddell ascended to presidency. None of it worked. And by that point, the writing was on the wall. Ownership would be taking solicitors to sell the team. And there weren't many people from Atlanta willing to keep the experiment going. Not to pay rent for Phillips Arena. The NHL had a choice to make. Keep Atlanta or keep Phoenix. Glendale threw $25 million to keep the team around, so they stayed. So the league was giving them no aid. The group from Winnipeg came in with an offer of $170 million, and it was over. The city had lost another hockey team. Considering the past two forays, the NHL probably won't be heading back here for a long time, if at all. So what did we learn from the Thrashers and their failure to thrive? To me, it's about the importance of quality ownership. Atlanta Spirit was absolute shit. Their infighting and neglect of the team cost them success in nearly every conceivable way. They didn't pay attention to what Don Waddell was doing. They just gave him rudimentary directions on what to do, and he went full speed ahead with it. His hands were tied in a lot of ways. It showed in the awful product they were putting out on the ice. But consider this. The Winnipeg Jets didn't experience playoff success either until 2018, mostly due to the poor actions of the Thrashers and Atlanta Spirit. Now imagine if that 2018 run had happened in Atlanta. Maybe the Thrashers get it.
If you help me, you love all of me. Or none of me at all.
Let's say you started streaming the game on your phone, and now you want to bring it over to the big screen. Well, you just press the cast button, and now you can watch the game on your TV. That's neat.
I'll pretend I've learned my lesson. I'll give Seattle's expansion draft more credence than I did for Vegas. Maybe it's to avoid eating shit again, but the Kraken have a lot of intriguing options to choose from. Young and safe to the incredibly risky gambles, there are a lot of different paths they can take. Seattle, I have to talk to you about something, though. Hire Dave Haxtell to be your head coach? Do you hear how much Philly is laughing at you right now? I know, fresh slate, but you don't need a conservative mind like his. The only pressure you have is to make the cup final in your first year. No biggie. Let's get to the draft.
From the Boston Bruins, the Seattle Kraken select Jeremy Lazar.
It would have been nice if the picks weren't leaked hours before the damn draft, but meet the first selection of the Seattle Kraken. Jeremy Lazar, a young defenseman that can play about 4 minutes longtime favorites. They did get Taylor Hall back at a reasonable rate, though. I think he'll gladly take that over having to pay the Buffalo tax.
From the Buffalo Sabres, the Seattle Kraken select Will Morgan.
William Morgan is now the happiest man in North America. He is free from the hell of the Sabres. Yes, they are still in chaos, thanks for asking. But with a bunch of garbage available, Seattle wanted nothing to do with it. Not to mention Jack Eichel and or Sam Reinhart are as good as gone. It's just a matter of when. Don't worry, you only have 6 more years of that Jeff Skinner contract to leave before you're free. Dad. Come on, Pete. All of Detroit is celebrating this exodus. They changed Detroit's texture. Orlowski was pretty much ruined by the Red Wings and their changing of the guard. Expected to play big minutes, he was burned up by not being ready for the league. Now the hope is that a change of scenery gets him to his potential. If not, no big deal. He's a gamble, and it could pay off.
The Florida Panthers, Seattle Kraken select Chris Reicher.
Ron Francis's undoing as a GM in Carolina was his inability to find reliable goaltending. No matter what he did, his approaches failed in all aspects. It was the worst kept secret in hockey that they were going to take Reicher. Small sample size, but he was outstanding as a Panther. His new contract isn't insane either. It kind of reminds me when the Hurricanes signed Scott Darling. It was within a small sample size, but he flopped far once he got a starting role. Hopefully the same doesn't happen here.
Montreal Canadiens and Seattle Kraken select
Everyone was screaming from the heavens. Take Carey Price yet. Let us embrace the chaos. But as Zach Happ hit, and that term, and the injury he's revealed to have, hard pass. They'll just go the safe route and Gale Fleury instead of what Montreal was offering. Even for the Habs, that cup run might have been their last job for a few guys. Not just for hard defeat, for a strong career if that's the case. What a shame.
From the Ottawa Senators, the Seattle Kraken select Joey Decord.
I was hoping Ottawa would expose Philip Gustafson, but they were smart and chose to protect him over Matt Murray. The Sens had little of value to choose from. And Decord could be something with more seasoning, so why not pick him? All that's left to reveal here is that Pierre Maguire is part of the executive brass nowadays. Why the hell are you laughing? He's proven to be a good scout.
From the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Seattle Kraken select Yanni Gourde.
The Lightning were going to lose a great piece in this draft. Maybe more if the guards were dealt that way. They might be lucky they only lost a piece of a line that was being dismantled regardless. Yanni Gourde is a strong asset. A bit rough of a contract term, but a very cerebral player. Can play anywhere you ask of him, good character, strong offensive instincts. He'll fit in nicely on the top 6 when he's able to play. Yeah, I did say when he's able. Yanni just had shoulder surgery and he's out for at least 4 months. See you in November.
With that, Seattle Kraken select from the Salt Lake City. Crack Jack! Forward, Jared McCann.
Who knew that Toronto would be pissed at losing a guy they picked up for almost nothing? Jared McCann is a good player. Nice middle 6 forward with decent scoring depth. Was brought in by the Leafs as bait to protect their current roster. They didn't want to lose Kerfoot or German. And Pittsburgh was offering him for pennies. It's a fair trade-off, but I still would have kept him over Kerfoot. He would have been useful to the Leafs. Now you see why their fans are pissed off?
They're not even fucking here.
Oh, gee.
Fuck board.
Guess if anyone knows anything about Morgan Geeky, it's the guy who drafted it. Fuck your Nito Niederreiter and fuck your
Give me
Chase
an
Beat.
ice. Not the
He's not a bad
GM.
pick whatsoever. He's got promise,
You know,
but I
say-
think you get more value for Niederreiter
Give
if
me
they
the
go
coach.
trade him. Maybe in the future, Carolina will
Hey,
have more value for
hey,
Nito
you
than they did
performance
for
over
Jokic.
you.
They
Not
got one
funny.
on him, so they shipped him off to Detroit for a third. It's Jonathan
Not the
Bernier.
funny, but oh.
Excuse me, what?
Blue Jackets, Seattle Kraken select Gavin Favors.
Gavin Bayreuther? What the hell was this guy in the Blue Jackets? I figured this was going to involve a sweetener or two considering the others available, but Seattle made no trades involving the expansion draft. You seriously want me to believe that Bayreuther wasn't available for that? Yeah, he's done for the minor leagues.
Oh my-
You can find that anywhere. Seattle demand too much for trying to take on bad contracts? I guess he learned from Vegas, but even still, there were much better options out there.
Seattle Kraken select Washington Jersey Devils.
Only fucking years, so that's it. That's it. That's it.
Like many
Please.
Vikings last year, the Devils didn't have much to choose from. Baskin is a big body that can be all right in the bottom six or as an extra forward. So he'll have some value for the Kraken in the short term. Curious what New Jersey does this offseason.
New York Islanders, Seattle Kraken select York Everly.
The Islanders needed to dangle some extra cap space to try and finally get over the hump. Apparently means they needed to protect Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck over Josh Bailey and Jordan Everly.
Oh my God, give me a bull job.
Those links to police agents sooner are true. Everly's contract is a bit iffy, but he's still quite useful as a player. They'll make an immediate impact in Seattle. Be one of the faces of the franchise in the process.
Rangers, Seattle Kraken select Colin Blackwell.
Colin Blackwell had a solid little season for the Rangers. Nice piece to plumb in on a bottom six and get reliable performances most nights. I don't think the Rags are going to worry that much about it, though, since they have a boner for cup-winning grit. Barclay Goodrow, step on up. You are the next benefactor of a 10F contract. 6 years at $3.6 million per year. You better hope to God that he blossoms like 10F did too.
Philadelphia Flyers, the Seattle Kraken select Carson Wierenski.
I wasn't fond on picking KBR at that cap hit either, but there were much better options here than Wierenski. Stints in the NHL are best
Oh, yes. Oh my fucking God, yes.
Replace the likes of him underweight of the bench.
Oh my God. Blow job.
Come back here in a year or so and trust the quality NHL player in mind of my talent. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to miss that. Yes, the contract still was rough, but he's a unique player who blossomed in a greater role. Strong penalty killer, tireless energy guy, and no like getting hit and I can't hit don't get some much needed cap space. Will probably allow them to overcompensate for goaltending issues in the playoffs. Why was Jeff Carter protected anyway?
The Washington Capitals, the Seattle Kraken select D-Tech Manitoba.
Capitals were going to lose one of the two young goalies in this draft.
Mister, give me an ice,
No way they were
mister.
dangling some sun off of it.
Can't be the GM.
Goodbye,
Be the hockey player, mister.
Some may think Ovechkin was undertaken.
You?
You think of the UFA
Go fuck your mom.
Not funny.
Get somebody with upside. I don't blame them for that thing. I know Arizona didn't have much to choose from, especially after trading 8-0 to San Jose. Pitlick is the kind of guy you can find easily in free agency. He's not a bad player, but there were better forwards to choose from in my opinion. Take him or leave him, pretty interchangeable play. Enough so to flip him to Calgary for a mid-round pick, thus proving my point.
Go Fortnite. Yay, Fortnite. Yay.
Chicago had absolutely nothing to bet.
Dude, it's a PS5 game, too.
Loaded salary and
Smart
that chance. Even then, they picked neither and went with Coach Q's second.
Dude, you'll be the hockey player, not the GM.
Times like this when I was in Vegas were forced to
No.
Yes.
You just pretend the Blackhawks don't exist.
No,
You've
bitch.
seen the heinous shit surrounding their organization as a player. It's fucking disgusting. Good enough to drop from this draft for me. Throw the fucking book at him. No, I didn't mean throw everything for Seth fucking Jones and extend him after a week's season. Jesus. Fuck Chicago.
Took Jonas to Scully.
That butchering of Donskoy's name was the highlight of the goddamn draft. I thought in San Jose, Donskoy is a strong player. He plays out 6 minutes if needed, defensive third line minutes.
Oh. Oh my fucking God, yes.
I'm looking for you right now. Oh, yeah.
I'm busy, I can't.
No, you're not.
I am busy.
No, not
Don't have time
today.
for that shit.
Not today, mister. You're at home now.
Physical, sturdy, and
Oh,
sturdy
quick.
to an effective
Got the
shot.
picture now. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
He got paid like it as well. 5 years at $4.6 million per year. Pretty damn rich for the glove. Then again, the pickings from Dallas were very slim. That bitch of places no movement clause. This Dickinson got shipped off to Vancouver, so you might as well take a swing at him. Probably the best case scenario here.
Minnesota Wild, Seattle Kraken select Carson Susie.
I know what you're at. Why Susie over Capo Taka? What is Minnesota's game plan?
Yeah, look at now.
Wild ran into another major issue and needing to protect Matt Dumba.
Yes, that's your profile.
Three spots on defense and they need to
Got one mic here. Oh.
that were signed in 2012. Ryan Suter and Zach Parise were on their contracts. Era of single. His memory will live on for a while.
Spent the bum.
Oh yeah.
Is that way? You. Yes, yes.
No.
Yes. Well, just play a little partner with me. No. Don't be pouty.
Nashville apparently realizes that
Not funny.
Oh.
Not funny.
Fucking god.
Not just with Gully Youngsville down to Seattle. Ryan Ellis is first on the shopping block. Traded to Philly for younger players. After Shane and Ryan Johansson were left exposed, it might be shipped off too. The big piece leaving is Pekka Rinne. He's hanging up the goalie mask for retirement. The shame he never got that cup. He was a damn good goalie. Farewell, Pekka. You'll forever be who you play.
From the St. Louis Blues, Captain Bay. Vladimir Tarasenko's time is all that over in St. Louis, but it won't be Seattle that stays. That honor goes to Vince Dunn. Oh, a defenseman who's also wanted out of St. Louis for a bit. Got untapped upside, he could be one of their
Oh my
headlining
fucking god. Yes. 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 Oh.
Might be worth the risk. The Seattle Kraken select Mason Appleton. I had Dylan DeMello being picked here, but Appleton's not a bad pick either. He's a nice middle six winger and can play anywhere in the lineup. Probably starting to notice a trend with our forward picks in terms of versatility. We're trying to create the identity of being tough to play against. A group that can roll all four lines. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, they'll still be a bitch to play against.
Yeah, and that's the Seattle Kraken select Hayden Flaherty.
Ron Francis saw a ton of this guy when he was in Carolina, so there's a good chance that he thinks there's untapped potential here. He's even able to play with his brother Cale, so even better news for them. For Anaheim, they didn't have to give up a huge piece of their future. So both sides technically win here. Simple business. I've said Calgary needs to overhaul its core. Saying goodbye to Giordano for nothing isn't ideal, but it's a start in that direction. Giordano immediately becomes the captain and one of the first faces of the franchise. Getting up there in age and his peak, but should still be serviceable as again. Trying to extend guys like
I got it.
they still want to keep their heads
This Jason's hobbies are.
Edmonton is in fucking shambles.
What the heck is going on?
Larson, their best defender, is gone. Poached away by Seattle for a very good contract at a 4x4. The Oilers sell a fixing a past prime franchise player on a bad contract. Are you ready for more relics? Introducing Duncan Keith. They paid assets to get it. And Chicago didn't retain salary. Any goodwill we had for you signing Nugent Hopkins on the cheapest erased by the defense crumbling. I know Edmonton has to overpay for everything due to location, like a multi-year contract to 39-year-old Mike Smith, but yikes.
On that note, change the Seattle Kraken select Curtis McDermott.
Nepotism. The pastime of the boys' clubs across the land. You may see a fringe defenseman whose skill set is outdated for the modern game, and many better options available for Seattle to take. But for Ronnie franchise, former teammate and friend Paul McDermott's unavailable to select. Fuck the backwards ideologies that set organizations back. It's about doing favors for old chums.
Oh my
If you
fucking
shoot
god,
it,
yes.
what does analytics suggest?
Oh my
Cutting edge organization, my ass.
And with that, the Seattle Kraken select on the channel will start.
Alex True isn't a bad player by any means. She'd probably fill in on their fourth line if need be, but once again, there were better options to pick from in San Jose. A lot of people had Dillingham Rowe, but I have Raheem Simic here. Although noticing the trends, I think a lot of these options were also to help keep the team's salary low for now. I think they're going to be big players in the market this offseason.
Yes, go Fortnite. Yay.
Fortnite's horrible.
No, that's not.
Yes, it fucking is.
No.
Yes, it fucking is, you fucking weirdo.
No,
And I'm not saying that just because it's
Fuck you.
They also have ridiculous.
Yeah, you will go fuck yourself.
You.
Upside, it doesn't cost
Asshole. Fuck you. Bitch.
It's gonna say.
Want to suck my dick? No.
That's what.
No.
Yes.
No.
Now.
Asshole.
Go Popeyes and get right there. Yes.
Yes.
Seattle's opening
Yo.
line, they went for versatility and power. Their forward core is very entertaining. No superstar players, but lots of parts that can fit on any line. Plenty of unique players to choose from. The defensive core looks very strong. Giordano isn't what he was, but he's still good. You have three pairings that are...
Holy Christ. Oh, fuck.
Beyond
Ah.
Pixel 6. Our safety phone ahead. With layers
Ah, there you go. You now.
on the first ever
I gotcha.
Google Pixel 6.
Yes, so.
Like that. We're going to get a letter beyond those black diamonds.
You look like you could use a change of clothes, mister. Yeah? Yeah, I'd say so. You don't want to go back in the world looking like that. Come on, there's a better way to fix your unfortunate time. How about the high-end wares with that high-end look? It's all possible thanks to Mac Weldon, the sponsor of this video. Looking great doesn't have to come at the cost of your soul. Mac Weldon only
Holy
the best
Christ.
materials are used to create
Looking now, Mr.
comfort and accessibility are
I don't need your fucking help.
I think you do.
built to reduce the stress of shopping. They meticulously design
Yes,
every
you do,
detail.
smart
They
ass.
not only allow you maximum readability, but minimum
Can I
shrinkage.
fucking help
I don't
you?
think I'm
I'm looking for you, mister.
That's quite the improvement. Now imagine how much better they'll be on you. Going out casually for a night in the town, chilling by the pool, even fancying a swim. Mac Weldon can help you go out in style. Consider their Weldon Blue program. Level 1 gives you free shipping for life. For level 2, if you spend $200, you get 20% off every purchase for an
Holy
entire
fuck.
year. You can get 20% off your first order right now by going to MacWeldon.com/U3. Just enter the promo code U3 when you get there. Don't lack the confidence to go back out in the world. Dress with the best. Dress with Mac Weldon. Now on to the show. Calendars are pretty good these days, aren't they? The second straight deep playoff run in the hope of a better tomorrow fueling their rise. You wouldn't know that things were extremely chaotic for them in recent times. To truly understand the depth of their despair, you must know the situation back in 2017. I just made a video about the New York Islanders and their sad state of affairs at the time. They were suffering through decades of incredibly awful ownership and executive management. They were about to waste yet another year of young development. Bud Snow was still around somehow. The team had constantly failed to come anywhere close to a legitimate contender. Things were looking bleak. Those were the least of their concerns. With the poor attendance, they were to be forced out of Barclays Center and might not have a home in the near future. They might leave the island. If they're lucky, only a short drive to Hartford. But what if it's Quebec City? It'd be sacrilege. So what changed their fortunes this time? What turned this former scrapheap into a gold mine? Honestly, it was nearly everything. You look at them nowadays, and none of those previous concerns are a factor. Isles fans have something they haven't had in a while. Hope. First, the belief in sustainability. Things that seemed improbable for you. My three biggest issues at the time were easy to pinpoint. Terrible management and coaching, consistently apathetic ownership, and the failure to secure a new arena for the team. So this, let's start with the product on the ice. Ending the 2018 season, the Islanders were a problem. John Tavares was about to test the free agent watch. The team had massive holes throughout the line, and they lacked any sort of core identity. Luckily had them scoring at a nice clip, but it was at the cost of their defensive structure. They were a team that had been tilted, and it was leaning towards their own end. Their upside was first round exit. Maybe a series with a threat as a trivial. It was a cycle of doom. Mark Snow was a big issue with how the team was moving forward. There were some good moves made, but for the most part, he was terrible at his job. He had been around for way too long. He had done them in with awful free agent signings. He had been unable to secure a good coach.
I'm looking for you.
I don't need your fucking help.
Yes, you do.
Something had to be done in the office.
Point it out.
He's here where the spark was lit. Two men would change the fortunes of the team almost overnight. The first, a man the Isles knew far too well from Jersey, Lou Lamoriello. After being released from duty in his execution of the Shannon plan, he was immediately picked up in Long Island as team saw. There were questions about his age and long-term viability, but his goal was to bring the Isles back to where they were, and he needed a coach that could take them there.
What was he holding in the most valuable acquisition the team's ever had? Barry Trotz, fresh off a Stanley Cup and can't make it past the second round games of his own, was a free agent. Ted Leonsis left him as a lame duck during the season. He felt that Trotz wasn't the guy to move his team forward. And he was almost right. Until he pulled the cap sheet from the game. Washington wouldn't give him the raise he deserved. And New York saw an opportunity. They paid him. And handsome. As their new head coach, I had a feeling he'd be successful. The reason is simple. Trotz has always gotten more out of life. Some national teams that had no business being into the postseason regularly.
Always the space.
Got into a cup. The same thing happened with the
Yes, it is. This fucking is fucked up.
reeling from the loss of their captain.
I know it's not. I got you now. I got you now.
This might be the safest take I've ever had. Trotz has earned every
My face now.
Don't make me, bitch. Fuck you.
Now, clap hands. Now, big bump bump.
Oh.
Hey, get up there. Move it. Move it. Move it. Woohoo! Get out of there.
Defensively, they hold it with a coon for their net height. You're going to try. They told him the team to shoot their feet.
Now.
All they need are one or two chances. One small slip up and they will capitalize on it. As for the Capitals, they haven't won a playoff series since last. That includes series against the Isles themselves. But it's comes to injury. It includes the assistants Drop Whip, the keepies, Mitch Core. His name might sound unfamiliar to you, but look at his resume. He turned Dominic Hasek into a generational golden. He made Pekka Rinne too good right now. His goaltending alumni include the likes of Jussi Saros, Tomas Bakun, Philip Grubauer, and many more. His fingerprints are all over this rise as well. Look at the goalies they had heading into the 2018-19 season. Thomas Greiss and Robin Lehman. An unremarkable journeyman and a shot in the dark trying to fight his own demons. Gordon took these two question marks and turned them into elite netminders. The Isles not only revived their careers, but their netminding won them the William Jennings Award in 2019. Later, and Greiss got nice paydays elsewhere. Now the same is being done with Semyon Varlamov and Ilya Sorokin. It doesn't hurt that Sorokin is one of the best goalie prospects of the Russian recent history. Their performance it doesn't hurt. It also helps to have a strong defense. Remember when I said the Isles in your task were awful defensively? Their abysmal penalty kill under Doug Waite? That changed almost overnight. And it was with materials they already had installed. Adam Pelech and Ryan Pollock under their watch have turned into some of the best defenders in the game. Devon Taves, before he got traded, was in the same boat. The names are unassuming, but there isn't a weak point on any of these pairings. Their penalty kill went from dead last to one of the best in the league. Their once biggest liabilities have become their greatest strengths. Their forward core isn't anything special, but they're well-rounded. Under Lane Lambert, they know their roles and play them well. They can all chip in offensively if need be. They are malleable and adaptable, and who are effective in all three zones. Relentless forecheckers, aggressive backcheckers. There isn't a true superstar of the bunch. The only one that comes close is Matt Barzal, but they are all incredible pieces to this team. And that's what this is. A team. An organized unit whose only goal is for the betterment of the club. It works with every trade mate. For guys like Jean-Gabriel Pageau, even if the price to get him was steep, the man's a playoff warrior. And his exploits are well known in that realm. Former Devils in Andy Green, Travis Zajac, and Cal Palmieri brought in to Phil Holt. And they too have made a serious impact on their fortunes. Even when under sleeve, their goddamn captain is knocked out for the season, they do not stop. Next man out. That's the key for the Islanders. This team is built for the playoffs. With their blend of size, speed, skill, and tenacity, they're a menace to any team that faces them.
You can click to buy, or you can click to save. Yep.
The credit goes to those off-season moves in 2018. Now, you can make the argument that Lou isn't really worthy of crediting here, and I can... Hockey is always a fantastic sport to see in person. I've said it a million times, but being at the games and merely watching on a TV screen are two entirely different things. Spring soon to be upon us, the time is perfect to take in a game at the arena. How do you do that? It's SeatGeek, the sponsor of this video. The resale market is bustling with activity. SeatGeek looks through every available ticket and gets you the best possible value. By sorting all tickets on a 1 to 10 scale and giving you a view from where you'll be sitting, it can do this. The ability to be scanned in the game from the app itself, it makes it even better. Know how you clinch the deal? By using the promo code CREED to save $20 off your first purchase. Going to games doesn't have to break the bank in most cases. With the power of SeatGeek, you can conquer any event you want to go to. Now on to the main course. This video. You know, I nearly made a video on the Philadelphia Flyers a few seasons ago. And the script all written out, got the B-roll ready to go, even did the damn vocals for it. It was going to be some of the most stereotypical Flyers hate this side of Broad Street. But then a terrible thing happened. His name was Carter Hart. Brought the franchise back to salvation with his outstanding play. And the winning streak was their reward. No longer could I make endlessly lame jokes about how a cheesesteak would have a better save percentage in net. They had improved. Thus, the video was scrapped. It is here where the Flyers evolved from the doldrums of hilarity to legitimate cup contenders. There was nothing else to say on that front. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. If that was the end result, this concept wouldn't have been revived from the dead. The Flyers are... To be quite frank, I don't know what the hell to make of them. I wish I could tear the supposed vision they have to shreds, but if you observe the moves they've made, and I mean take a magnifying glass to look for any sort of roadmap, Philly doesn't have one. It's nothing but an amalgamation of ideas stretching the team out to an incorrigible mess. They'll be knee-jerk and aggressive. They'll go through their midlife crisis and give lip service to rebuilding with cheap plywood and rusty nails. They'll talk about developing players from within and then do everything in their power to keep them in the minors and ruin it all. Try to get seasons like the one you see in front of you. What happens when they go from Ron Hextall when it was more aggressive on the ice than it was in the marketplace to Chuck Fletcher. He successfully built teams whose upside was the Philadelphia Flyers. Oh, what an upside it truly is. Seeing them get shit stomped in the playoffs against the hated division rival of the Penguins. It never ceases to put a smile on my face. The god-awful bullshit. The useless defensive structures. Dave Hackstall behind the bench. It was as embarrassing a series defeat as any. Sidney Crosby proved he's still the king of your garbage-ass city. I'm saying he sucks, Philly. It only fuels his bloodlust further. You'll counter with 2020 in the bubble, and it's a strong argument. They were looking good. And they run into an obvious one that wasn't for the choke of the heavily favored team in Game 7. The only video schedule is one that doesn't allow for refunds. It also doesn't allow for anything besides only the no potential. At this point, I think Flyers fans might be wishing for even a whiff of that half goal. Depressing, I know, but when you consider the current iteration, their goal-scoring prowess rivaling a Lions carcass, its power play is effective as Texas's power grid during a winter freeze, watching as Carter Hart's confidence shrivels into a raisin, featuring not just one, but 2 10-plus game losing streaks within a 40-game span? You mean to tell me that an offensive game plan solely based on redirects isn't sustainable long-term? It can't be denied, this is an absolutely bad hockey team. Who would you consider the best forwards right now? Gerald Mayhew? Everyone else is injured or underperforming. The NHL's McMansion. Garish, overburdened franchise that doesn't know what it wants to be, so it tries to do everything at once. Yet it's a bloated, expensive, elite house of shoddy construction and subprime mortgages. They don't plan. They merely react and grab at the shiniest objects they can find while throwing assets around like no one's business. No, Philly, you weren't a JVR away from competing for the playoffs at the time you signed it. And you certainly aren't with 2 goals in 24 goddamn games. No, Philly, inking Kevin Hayes to a fucking 7x7 isn't financially savvy. He'll have to perform like he did in the first year of his contract to pay off. And he hasn't. No, Philly, trading for Ryan Ellis' horrifying contract while losing assets to do it isn't a good idea when you suck. No, Philly, doing nothing about the god-awful defensive structure in place isn't going to be solved by endless amounts of Carter Hart. It's a melting pot of shit. They have semi-speed guys, they have pretty physical types, they have young prospects, they have veteran leadership as placeholders. Here's Matt Niskanen, and here's at least 3 players like him the next damn offseason. Do you see how maddening this is? It's a proxy war of acquisition simply for the sake of making them. It's an experimental art exhibition. Throw shit at the wall and help me create something resembling Jackson Pollock. Flyers are trying to keep up with the Joneses, but instead of making sure the foundation is intact, they just keep adding. The shopper addicted to Amazon. Watching when the delivery man drops off the refurbished Nate Thompson and Steve Yandel and Mark Jones, and they're getting for about 5 minutes. Those outdated economic bells and former top draft picks can be sensitive to EBA, so some other league team can have them. They'll grab their personalized Elaine videos from eBay and don't realize he's only good for alleged bill pushing. But this doesn't fully explain the Flyers' situation. You can scream to me about how I'm an outsider, and I don't know any better, but all I need to solidify my claim is one move. One terrible decision that encompasses every single thing that's been wrong with the Flyers for years.
Google Career Certificates provide online job training that's fast and flexible. Learn at your own pace and get job ready with less than 10 hours of study a week. Put your skills to work with a Google Career Certificate.
First and second round pick plus Robert Hagg. Secondly, the idea has just been fact. An idea. One of the least surprising elements of the year, Ristolainen is a terrible fit on the Flyers who has shown nothing but stagnation. Third, and worst of all, they threw away Shane Gostisbehere to get him. I know that Billy did a great job of learning him and turning him into one of the most hated men by the franchise, but he was shipped off along with the second round pick for absolutely nothing. What was the benefit of these moves? Physicality? Those to spend a better player on a worse team this year. Plus, he's cheaper than Risto. Perhaps Jake could have helped out a little with that god-awful power play, no? If I mentioned that Rasmus is a free agent at the end of the year. A potential return of next to nothing. Way to play yourself, boys. All of this alone is dead. The main problem I have with everything the Flyers are doing is that they aren't acknowledging that anything they're doing is wrong. Fletcher and company are taking the easy way out. They're just blaming it on the injuries. No, Chuck. Injuries are a very minor component of what's going on. How do you explain all the conflicting moves? What do you say about the team looking like it's given up on triangle types? What I'm reading, the game plan just seems to be pray everything stops being shitty once we get healthy. And that's not a way to run a franchise. Two words that should cause Flyers fans to piss their pants. Aggressively retooled. Conflicting mess of a buzzword, simply meaning they'll pull more assets around and hope they get the room organized by sheer luck. Good for you. Little Billy refuses to take responsibility for clogging the toilet and causing significant water damage to the first floor ceiling. I'm not saying I do any better as the Flyers GM. Be quite frank, I have no idea what the hell you do to get out of this. This situation is years of neglect. The current tour is overpriced or stagnating and locked into long-term contracts. Prospects are really hopes and prayers that they're game changers. They lack assets to get them over the hump. They're up against the cap with more than a few holes to fill, and all signs point to them remaining in this kind of hell for a while to come. Wouldn't it stink to see closer rule lift the cup somewhere else? That's where it's looking like it's headed. It's just a smart they traded, but it hasn't stopped them from being headstrong before. As a rival fan, please, keep doing what you're doing. Your constant shiftlessness and desperation needs of acquisitions is glorious news to the rest of us. While you squirm in pain, every Penguins, Caps, and Rangers fan will lift a pint in celebration. Toasting to your eternal misery as the adults in the room find ways to blow our own ambitions. That's why it's always shitty in Philadelphia. The Flyers help them make it that way.
trade that I think can actually happen. Now, we've seen a lot of drama over the Nashville Predators star, a player that's been in a lot of trade rumors as of recent over the past week. It seems like for Nashville, the chances of them re-signing Forsberg are getting slimmer and slimmer by the day, and a trade is more and more likely as well. But what will happen with Philip Forsberg? Where could he potentially go, and what would a Philip Forsberg trade actually look like? We're going to be answering all those questions, so make sure you stick around throughout the entire video, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. 50% of people that are watching are not subscribed, so if you like hockey and you like trading rumors, this channel is the place to be. Now, we've seen a couple of analysts talk about this situation in the last couple of weeks, but Elliot Friedman gave us a ton of new details on this situation in his latest 32 Thoughts, where he said this. The Nashville Predators know that to re-sign Philip Forsberg, the AAV must be higher than Matthew Shane and Ryan Johansson's $8 million figure. Forsberg knows that if he wants to stay in Tennessee, he's going to have to come in lower than Roman Yossi's $9 million. Then he goes on to say this. There's time. I believe there is will for both sides to get there. If we get to the deadline and the Predators don't believe they can sign him, that's when a trade becomes possible. The end of Boyle could unsigned Forsberg passport first, but it's not necessarily and won't happen if progress is made. So again, we get some confirmation here that the Preds will still have a decent chance of signing him, but if there's no progress or little progress done by the trade deadline or the week of, Philip Forsberg's trade is evident and will be very likely to happen. And I think there will be a ton of teams out there wanting to get this out. And there is one situation that is making this Philip Forsberg situation especially precarious for the Nashville Predators, and that's the fact that he is having his best season ever. As a potential UFA, Philip Forsberg in 39 games has 20 goals and 18 assists for 44 points. His value is at an all-time high, and if you do re-sign, yes, he will still be good, but I doubt that Philip Forsberg is going to have a better season than this. In terms of play driving, in terms of production, he has been among the NHL's least and most valuable, being a huge reason why the Preds have been such a playoff team this year, and it makes it such a harder situation for Nashville. In the end, although there is still a chance he will resign, there's only a month to go until the NHL trade deadline, and things will be happening fast. And in my opinion, with the way this situation is trending, I think the trade at this point, honestly, is more likely than not. Even if the Nashville Predators are in a playoff situation, in a playoff spot, if Philip Forsberg doesn't want to sign, then the Preds just have no choice. So let's just assume that Philip Forsberg is available and trade on trade deadline day. What would those trades look like, and what teams would be interested? So we're going to go through 5 different trade scenarios with 5 different NHL teams to see what could work in a Philip Forsberg trade. Now, we're going to start out with the first team here that I think could complete a Philip Forsberg deal. This, in my opinion, is one of the most realistic teams out there to actually inspire Forsberg, and that is the Calgary Flames. The team that's been incredibly hot since the start of the second half, and I think this is a team that can stand to have an even bigger addition onto that forward group. Yes, they went out and got Tyler Toffoli, making a little more difficult, but at the same time, I think they can do another addition, and Philip Forsberg would be an interesting one. I think he'd definitely be a rental. Unlike Tyler Toffoli, that could be added onto that top 6. Now, to me, it's interesting that you got Martin Pontiac as that second line left wing, and obviously Pedro as the first line left wing. But let's say they do put Forsberg on that second line and bump down Montiapani, he would become one of the best third-line players in the entire NHL, and would again increase that Calgary Flames again. Now, for the actual trade itself, for the Calgary Flames, I feel acquire Philip Forsberg, 50% retained, in exchange to the Nashville Predators. I think they'll get Dylan Dubé, a 2022 Calgary and Florida second-round pick, center, that's depth, and for Calgary. And it gives it out actually to this honor star. Now, there's a lot of moving parts in this trade, obviously. But one of the big things that the Flames already traded their first round pick in the Tyler Toffoli trade, which means that there is a lot more of a different pool here, I think, and a lot more of other prospects included. Yusuf Valimaki, a guy that just hasn't stepped in fully into that Flames lineup yet. This year, and it could be good defensive depth for the Preds. You also got, of course, the big one is Dylan Dubé, who hasn't really broken out the Flames either, but could be so on the Preds. Then you got other prospects like Connor Zari, who could have some improvement in the Nashville Predator system. A lot to like there, I think, on Nashville and Calgary side, even though it is a big price to pay for a rental. At the same time, this might be it for Calgary to truly go for it. Even if they end up re-signing Jonathan Drill, this is the best team they have. Now, the thing is, you might expect for all 5 of these teams to go out and get Forsberg and have another rental, but only 2 of the 5 teams that I mentioned today will actually actually just want him as a rental. I mean, the other three teams are going to want to extend him in a potential trade. And a good example of that comes in at number 2. The second team that I think will end up trading Phil Forsberg, I think, is the LA Kings. A team that could use some big additions on that top 6. Elliot Friedman also mentioned earlier that the Kings have acquired about $18 million and are potentially looking to trade for him. That's forward. Well, they do go for the National Predators. So Forsberg, I think, would be an even better fit. To me, the biggest issue about this LA Kings team is the left-hand side. Even though the defense could be more depth, the left-hand side is fairly lacking for a team that's supposed to be pushing and competing in the NHL playoffs. If they do get Phil Forsberg, I think that could push them over the edge of the playoff hunt. When it comes to actual trade, though, the LA Kings will acquire Phil Forsberg 25% retained, which is turning down to $4.5 million cap this season. In exchange for first, they will end up being Alex Turcotte, our first overall pick, 5th overall pick, or 5th overall pick. Andreas Athanasiou, a 2022 first round pick, and a 2023. There we go. I don't know what was going on in my brain. You know what I mean. When it comes to this deal, this might actually be one of the best offers the Nashville Predators get. I think the LA Kings are in a prime position to be able to trade for a guy like Forsberg. They have a multitude of prospects that they could be willing to give up. And although Turcotte hasn't developed amazingly up to this point, in the Preds system, he could be another guy to come onto that roster and get some added potential and some added opportunity here.
Don't click it, Mike. It's a scam. Oh, that was the reason.
And to have it go his way. You also happen to see him to be a solid bottom pick for the National Predators. Obviously, a first round pick on top of that. There is some real potential here, I think, for the Preds. They are going to trade Forsberg. I think the LA Kings is one of the most realistic and likely to go after this. And in my opinion, the Kings are one of those teams that will definitely prioritize extending him in a contract. It's been done before where a team will go and trade for a guy at the deadline to make sure that they can extend him to have his roster. I'm pretty sure it happened with Johnny Bill as a pure example, but you know exactly what I mean. When it comes to teams, I will want to keep as long as possible. And I don't think they trade for him if he's just a win. But now going on to the next team here, the third team I think is trade for Phil Forsberg, or at least be close to trading for Phil Forsberg after the trade deadline, and that is the New Jersey Devils. In my opinion, the Devils actually really sneaky team around this deadline. Even though they aren't going to compete for a playoff spot this season, they're looking to compete, especially for next year. Now, this deal might feel a little wacky, but bear with me. The Devils, we know, desperately want to make the playoffs. That management group, that ownership group, desperately wants to win at any cost possible. And obviously, how this season is done, since the injuries and maybe the forward room, I put that the New Jersey Devils want to prioritize competing and squeezing better for 2023. So, in doing that, they will acquire Phil Forsberg, extend him, and have him as a core part of this Devils forward group for the National Predators. In exchange, they will receive Pavel Zacha, John Skelton, and a 2023 first round pick. Now, this is a huge gamble for the New Jersey Devils. If they are back to playoff contention next year, this could be a huge addition to the Preds. The 2023 draft is absolutely excellent. But I think for the Devils, it's more so just trying to compete and confirm their competing in 2023. If they have that first round pick on, they can't go back to the draft. They don't have any other backup plan, which might not be the greatest decision. But for a Devils team that desperately wants to compete and get back to that level, that might be a sign to that organization that enough is enough. And if they are to fail again, it will mean disastrous consequences. So there's even more pressure on the line, which there should be in New Jersey. So in my opinion, I can see stepping stones, even more additions in the offseason that we like to have the defense, in terms of goaltending. There could be some more options there. I think for the Devils, this would be really interesting trades. But just on paper, I think you see a few additions. There's not a ton of players on that left wing side, but they're still able to keep other prospects like Alex Verholt and Luke Hughes in the system, which is definitely important. And I think honestly, Phil Forsberg around Jack Hughes or maybe the future would be a slam. And even though it might be a weird offer, at the same time, I don't see the Devils trading their 2022 first round picks, and that could be in the top 5. I also don't see them trading Alex Verholt to make this happen, because I just don't even want to keep the stuff like that in the system. So I think the Devils will have to give some sort of offer and some sort of value back, and I think there's no trade for Philip Forsberg. This is a team that I think is extremely interesting. I think we can actually see a top forward for top defenseman trade for the first time in a while. And that is the Anaheim Ducks. Now, the trade I'm proposing here is pretty interesting. First thing, the Anaheim Ducks, they will receive Philip Forsberg, but in exchange, the National Predators, they will receive Hampus Lindholm, a Braden Tracy forward prospect, as well as a 2022 fourth round pick. Now, this is interesting, although it's not a one-for-one, it's a top defenseman for a top forward, and at the same time, both of these players would be rentals, perhaps. But I feel like both these teams would want to try to get extensions for the other. Now, when it comes to Hampus Lindholm, especially, he's got a ton of lost step, I think, over the past couple of years, but is still potentially in his prime. And I think for the National Predators, they did a great job of some of their defense over the years. It was good for Hampus Lindholm's career around and get him back to a top pairing defenseman. Meanwhile, Philip Forsberg on that Ducks team, I think he's absolutely amazing. Alongside guys like Eagles, alongside other players like Sidney Milano and great players in that top six, he would really add, though, to that top six. And I feel like the Ducks in the next few years, Forsberg would be an absolute force on that team and would kind of like the Devils turn them into a much better contender over the next few years. And I think for the Preds, at the same time, even though they are trading Forsberg, this would be one of the best options to get NHL players now, specifically Hampus Lindholm, who would turn that defense into a much more formidable one playoff-wise, and I think he'd have a lot more potential there. It's a really interesting deal, but I'm not sure it'll actually happen, because again, I feel like they're both teams, they want to have extensions with their top level. But now moving on to the 15, I think we'll trade for Philip Forsberg. And in terms of teams, I'm going to say this, it might be the most absolute wild idea, but you guys know, I like to go crazy, I like to be optimistic. And this is certainly a creative idea. For the 15, I think to trade for Philip Forsberg, I have the Washington Capitals. Now, I know what you might be thinking. The Capitals, after all this time, reacquired Philip Forsberg. Well, I think it would actually be an interesting idea. Now, for the Caps, he would probably be a rental. But at the same time, for this Capitals team, there's only so many more years for you to expect. This absolute legend player from Alex Ovechkin, even though he's just wonder at this point, there's still an expiration date there. I still think for the Capitals, getting the guy like Philip Forsberg would change the identity of the team. He's been sliding over these past couple of months. This is a team that has some desperate blows, pushing the forward, and I feel like Philip Forsberg would add to that. Now, they might lose the depth, but at the same time, Forsberg will be almost a reputation. Currently let you host meetings along with anyone in your organization. Scheduling a meeting with your team is as easy as sharing a link.
Hey, what up? It's me, Medieval Knight, here to slaughter some heretics. Oh my god! Fabio! I didn't know you were in this game, you crazy horse, dude. Such a good boy, Fabio. George, man! Giant spook! Oh, I don't even know who I'm hitting. Ah! Ah! Oh god, Fabio, can you stop getting stuck on the thinnest hole? You have not changed. There's a guy over there, Fabio, turn left! Turn fucking left! Ah! What? How did that miss? Fabio, slow down, I can't even see who I'm trying to hit. Oh no, Fabio, what have you done? What have you done? Oh god! I'll see you in hell, Fabio. You don't need to put on some clothes. We're in a goddamn war here. I didn't know knights could even be rednecks. Look at this guy. Swing faces. You saw it. Get him, get him. Oh, well, I'm on blue team fighting these filthy red boys. Goddamn commie bastards. Charge without fear. Oh my fucking god, retreat. I didn't realize there were so many of them. Look at this kid. He's so thirsty. Fuck out of my face. Come on, come closer if you dare. Take us both, my brothers. Together we will purge this holy land of these filthy communists. Oh, when your legs don't work like they used to. They're trying to take our objective. Unfortunately for them, I've been keeping tabs on it. Be gone from this holy land. Take another. Where'd he go? Oh, Jim! What are you two doing? He's just swinging it around with no thought for defense. Yeah, look at him go! That was pretty embarrassing. We let one guy kill like 5 of us, and he did nothing but just swing his sword around like a madman. Oh shit, speak of a devil, it's him! Where did he get behind me again? What the fuck? He's just doing the same thing! This is what happens when the special ed kid finds a stick on the playground. I've heard some people say this game is just for honor, but in first person, these people could not be more wrong, because while the two do share similarities, Mordhau is a breath of fresh air because of his free-flowing movement, limited block time. It's a lot of skill. Yeah, it's basically first person for us. What the hell? Is that Fabio playing on the other team? Fabio, what are you doing fighting for the fucking communists? I thought you were better than this. Soldiers of Gondor, of Rohan, my brothers. Can you let me finish? I see in your eyes the same fear, the lag. How did they even get a kill? Did you see that? Oh, what the fight for me. And I will hold your oath fulfilled. Yeah, as chaotic as this game can get, it is such a sight to behold, and it's so much fun. This is all very new to me too, because I haven't really played any first-person medieval games. Huh? Oh, Fabio, what's up? Of course, I am this close to losing it. I am still having a talk with that silly horse once this is done. I'm just swinging! Oh, is that a teammate? I don't even know. I see. Amidst all this chaos, I have found my man. Here, guy. I challenge you. Relax. It's Lawbringer. What's up? You move up the board now because you got sick of being crashed here for honor. Is that it? Something never changed, Lawbringer. Purge the heretics! More! Oh, teammate, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Consumed by my bloodlust, I no longer recognize friends and souls. I'm not even my own son. What the hell do you think you're doing? You think we're just gonna let you peacefully drive around in our neighborhood with your... Oh, it's a catapult, hey. Okay, I guess not. An enemy of Jerusalem! This will not go unpunished. I will throw. Okay, wait, time out. Okay, I'm still in this. Fabio! Yes! Nice! Oh no. More now with the controller. They call it an ass. But hey, look, it works. Look at that. And if I do this with the right trigger here, it's gonna swing. Watch. See? And the right bumper is like that. Okay, so it's not perfect. An hour of wolves and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down. But it is not this day. Oh my! Hey, I introduce everyone to my custom night. According to classic book, they have most of the top lifeguard to watch. He's not ready for battle yet, but he is ready. The prospect big! We're about to get a real This dude looks pretty fly. Look at him. Dude, when my guy has pants.
How to T1 with an active family. A 40-20-40 split folding second row. A redesigned 2022 T1. Google Career Certificates provide online training for in-demand jobs. They're developed by Google.
Sir Cornelius McGrafty has been laying it up, but the star of today's video is my bard class. Everyone welcome Brooke Ed Sheeran. Everyone calm down. We don't have to put the fight off again. Go away that time again. People talk. Why you gotta be like this? It's just music. Stop. Oh, nice one, Fabio. I know what you want. Let there be peace unto this world. Stop killing each other. I don't know, hold hands. Wait, where'd my team go? They were my only defense. Harry, there's 104 days crusading actions that take to come and they end there. So the annual problem for next generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe cleaning your armor, killing a heathen, or climbing up the Archer Tower, discovering something that doesn't exist. Hey, I'm in the thick of it now, deep in the bushes. Think this! You thought, do you wish to join your friend in the afterlife? Keep calling for my faints, man. Oh, another Roman stab. We'll do it again. Faint it. Oh, Deus Vult, bitch. 4 generals from him. Ah! Uh-oh, this may have been a bad idea. Wait. Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Oh, Deus Rest, who are you? Dang, I'm a man on a mission. Here to bring peace. Land raging water, the power of song. These hostilities will change your blades to the blood of your brothers. When the night is gone, when the land is dark. Come on. Sun is shining in the sky, the rain is loud and sad. Sir Cornelius the Crafty enters the battle. What are you wearing? Oh, the party, come on. Oh shit, he chasing me, and I thought, oh yeah, we'll take this. I caught up your girlfriend, I'm so sorry. Roman stab! Oh shit, and it got me there. Oh, he got me there. Let's just try to go. Yeah. You thoughts, come on. Oh god, he's so tense, there's no help left. No! Yes! How did I do it? Thank you! How did I do it? Look at this guy, he's got a shield, he keeps it safe. But I have Roman kick! Oh, okay. Stop! Roman kick! Roman slam! Come on! Roman kick! Roman slam! I'm just punching this guy the entire time. Roman kick! Roman swing! Oh, jeez. I wore my cleats today, you should know that. Next to the sky, the fly, and we hide away from the Okay, song goes. Please, sir, I am a man who sees music, but I will defend myself if I can. Oh, Jesus! A fellow peacekeeper. And what's this? It's working. It's being mesmerized by the power of the song. There's blood running. Safety. Oh, we're gonna go. Oh, is that the night shuffle? I have brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to mine. Alright, song's over. My job here is done. Peace has been achieved. Now die. Ha! Broke Ed Sheeran's about to get wild. Exact and fast. Face it. You thought. Oh, when the song's over, it's over. I'm sorry. Do not fall for their barbaric ways. You are a knight. Yeah, there you go. Well, probably where are you? Everyone stop killing, please! Yeah! Why is he naked? It's so cold out here. Hey, if I didn't dismember, then hypothermia would have gotten to it. The quicker death. Ooh, what is this distraction? Alright, go! I'm gonna do an epic drop kill. Oh, here. Alright, now we go. Oh god, oh fuck. Yeah! Yeah! Okay, I got one, and it wasn't a teammate. That's the way your mind was. Did it again! Alright, I'm gonna develop a rhythm with this guy, and then I'm gonna fuck him up. Gotcha! What? Okay. Alright, now I got this. Yes! Yes, I do. Time to make a montage. Oh, here we are now. Harry! Yeah! Okay, I did something. Oh! I'm gonna get a kill that way. I will. He's got more than just mad skill. He's got an execution sword. He's pretty OP. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. I will get a kill this way. It's gonna be glorious. Oh! I thought that was gonna be it. No. Ah, here I come. Oh wait, no. Come back. No, it's like watching my dreams float away. This time, for real, my victim won't know what's hit him. A shining knife falling from the sky, trying to be mine. Oh shit! No! Fuck! Please, just don't take this away from me. No! Here we are. Music really does bring everyone together. The killing has stopped, and I am so proud of you all. Where are you going? Please don't. Okay, by the way, just like any starving street musician, I take suggestions. May this be the melody that calms these warriors. It's written on the way. There is time so long. Stop, are you kidding me? I'm pouring my fucking heart out here. This one goes out to all these sad sacks and shit out there. Peaceful thoughts, guys. Charge, warriors, without fear! Oh, that's cool. Oh, shit. War scouts, we meet again, Steely Eye. Wait, I know that one. Wait. Ah, fucking pop. Yeah! Ow! What fucking me? I'm surrounded. So I'm just gonna swing! How did I manage to kill a teammate when I'm surrounded by like 8 enemies? What happened? A cloud of smoke. Actually, employed my new thing. What up? Retreat into the clouds. And then back out again! Get him, boys, get him! Penetrate every hole! Bobby, what the fuck are you? Get out of here, Bobby. Come on! Don't face it! Peaceful thoughts. Everyone calm the fuck down. Did you just decapitate? Okay, you know what? That is it. I have had it. I guess we're gonna have to achieve peace the hard way. Do you have any idea who I am? I am broke and Sheeran, kid. You thought you don't want to calm down? You don't want me to sing your lullabies? And I'll just stab it into you. More! I will kill all of you! Wait, what's that? That's so cool. Nice melody. Is that Baby Shark? Fuck yeah! Do it again! Show off. Someone follows the sound of music, right? Sing along with it, man, with a gigantic act if you know the lyrics. What the fuck? You're probably just kicking to the beat, I understand. Pick it up. The place is cool and I was scared to let it go. I knew I loved you, but I was so. I want to stay with you until the rain rolls. Just say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go. I think I'm off to you again. Maybe that's why it's not stopping. Running out of stamina. Wait. Stop! I am Sir Cornelius the Crafty. Step the fuck up. Oh no, it's a helicopter of death. Look at it, just swinging non-stop. Whatever will I do? Oh, alright. Oh, hey, it's the shield guy again. Roman kick! Roman back! Oh, it's amazing you're not obese. You're eating everything. Big boy strike! Swing! Oh, should I do it again? I'll do it again. Oh, Jesus, back for more, I see. I thought I already put you to sleep. Here, have a fucking lullaby. Nice For my final song of the night, with our classic. You all know this one. If this doesn't... Guess who's back? I'm telling you, who's back again. Then he's back. I'm dark fall when I was a young boy. My father took me in. Alright, Sam, let's see what you got. Happy New Year, jerk off. I'm only back on the stage to go on Navy. Even on tails, man up. I was busy in Fallen Order, okay? And I was actually going to do Vader and Order episode 2 video episode for all their clips. I was thinking that the next episode. So I heard there's new stuff in this game. What the fuck? So high. Fighting space test. First Order jet cruiser. They fly now? They fly now. You infiltrators. The K-Sex spy, huh? He looks like the name Walter. He looks so old. Imagine being 80 years old and fighting space magic. Back in my day, kids had more respect. My grandson keeps saying yeet. I don't know what it means. And of course, the Sith Trooper. Right. Wow, they're getting red. I think he's type for Trooper that has like 6 seconds of speed. I'll do all the new stuff. Let's go. First game, they're spawning on step check. It's so bad, man. It's the slowest firing gun ever. It's so slow. It's got our strikers like me. I thought we killed all the fascists. It's just the point like the class of talking about the sky. Yep. It's all totally a Sith Trooper right there. They're so bright that you can spot it. There's one! I'm back in Vietnam! Oh! They fly now! They fly now! There's totally a Sith Trooper right there. There's totally Sith Troopers right there. They're so bright, right? Charlie was different. Oh God, I want to be here. Why do I hear pork next son? That's right. Okay, the soldiers. It's them! The gunners! Oh my goodness, score. It's an ass. Watch the door, like, watch the door. Oh my God, my help. Melted away. Fire! Fire! What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm not to nothing but the gunners. What is going on here? What a fuck. What a fuck! Favorite fuck. Safety kick. That's so much. Oh my God. Let me get the gunner. What's the gunner? What's the fuck? That shit is fuck. I still have no idea how to balance anything. Fuck is a balance shit. I'll just play for honor. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. I don't know what. Whoa! Okay, did anyone else see my health bar vanish? I don't want to spawn anyone vinyl spawning again. I can't have the whole video. Fascism has been defeated by big alien where am I in this victory? Whoa! What is that? Our whole team just got roasted by the gunners and they're fighting. By the silver lining, they're like unlock the final thing. One-shot, headshot kill them. You hear that? The sniper packs so much punch it has its own siren. One shot, one kill. There's totally a Sith Trooper right there. Through the trees. One shot, one kill. One shot, no. Motherfucker. One kill. One shot, one kill. One kill. Oh, the power. Let's go. Get the fuck out of my sight. Nice shield, jackass. What's that gonna do? Look at him. Wait. How about I'm gonna beat the fuck off. We still have 50 lives left, and we just demolished them. Nice! Fuck the fascists! What are you doing?
Oh my God. There's 7 on again. And another one. There's 7 on
Oh
again.
my God! What is that? There's 8 leaders and damage faders.
You will bow to the final order.
Fucking order out there. Oh!
Yo!
Me and the boys supporting a dictatorship.
Oh, it's great. It's all the Jedi run.
It's all the Jedi. Dude! It's Ray Skywalker! Sorry, I couldn't get through it. Grace, I was gonna throw up. I couldn't say it. Check this out. Let's take a look. Oh, that was terrible. Words are heretics. Words done in holy fire. Words. Words. Dude, they're totally flying right now. The sniper is amazing. There's totally a Sith trooper right there. It's Walter! Quick, someone play some Fortunate Son. It'll freak him out. This is a terrible spot. I need to get out of here. Activate Ultra Sprint. Speed. I am speed. For someone who has 3 seconds of screen time, the Sith trooper is pretty fun to play. Oh no. The gunners. We're fucked. We're fucked. The moment these big motherfuckers show up, it's over. Fuck off. There's totally a Sith trooper. What? You don't see him? I can hear voices in the trees. I am in the twilight of my life. Come on. No. I just hit the spy. Let me play him for a second. Oh, God. Teammates, help. There's so many of you. Kill him. Ah, are you serious, you whore? Can I experience the new guys for more than a minute, please? Look at the score. Jesus Christ. I don't think I've seen the First Order win once with this whole session. Jet Trooper time. I fly now. Call me Firebird. Strafing run. This gun sucks. Whoa. So far, this is my favorite Jet Trooper in terms of flying controls. What's up, fuckers? It's me, Firebird. This does no damage. You're better off just using a blaster. Firebird. I get high while you're low. Oh, but that's the way these things go. I'll do it again. Gotcha now! Fuck off, stop flying. What's up, fucker? Firebird. Can I get him? Firebird! No! I'll fucking do it again. I am the Boba General. Can I get him with this? No, I blasted it twice and he's still alive. This grenade launcher sucks! Just use the regular gun. Here, there. Hang on, what does this ability do? Let's find out. No. I just won as the First Order. Is this some sort of glitch? Back to Jakku. Why does everyone sound so bad? What do you say when someone lies to you on Jakku? Jakku! As much as I'd love to play the new troopers right now, we're on Jakku. And Jakku is home of the flame troopers. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. This is way too high for me. I can't do it. That was short noise. We'll do it again. I see that. I see you, rebel scum, trying to do a master flank. Stop right there! He's probably complaining like, well, they spawned behind me. No. I master flanked your master flank. Oh, shit! It's the gunner! 2 of them! Dude, there's so much help! Oh, where's the other one? Come here! The master flank. Let's fucking do this. Thought it was a nightmare. Thought it was so true. That don't go walking slow. The devil's on the loose. Gotta run through the jungle. Gotta run through the jungle. Gotta run through the jungle. Gotta run through. Knock him up and then go in for the kill. Here we go, boys. Here we go. I stopped smacking him! Yeah! Orbital strike! Rolling thunder! It's my bomb. Oh,
that's my bomb. I just bombed. Oh my god, so many kills.
I got 3.
Uh-oh. I got 4.
Yeah, well, I actually got 5.
Oh, Kylo Ren's back. Wait. Oh, I got 6.
Turns out I actually got 7 now that I checked it. Some folks are born made to wave the flag. I'm here!
Calling in the back!
Oh, Caleb, you madman! Oh, Vietnam!
I'm gonna die!
Oh my god, you are gonna die. Look at this. Look at what our grenade is called.
A precious grenade?
Find the nearest minority and throw it! It explodes and a billion copies of Mein Kampf just flies up.
Oh my god, tossing oppression.
Tossing oppression.
Explodes, says the N-word.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
Too many to impress.
I suck. No! Set the black guy on top.
Get in the ejector! just get in there!
Where the hell is B?
God, you guys suck!
I was trying! I'll take a break from all the do a little bit of hey, it's the new map too. First try. Holy shit. Wow, the lobby's broken. There's 6 people on the hero side. Guys, what the fuck? I'll try to get the new map later. I want to warm up first. What's going on up here? Kenobi! It's over for you all. The Grievous main is here. You are a bold one. What I'm trying to say is take your clothes off. But Lando keeps cutting me down. I need to switch off the limited power! Shit on you. Pay the price for your lack of vision. The switch to Palpatine is shutting them down. Moves and counter moves. Young Rey, you fool. I am all the Sith. Oh, shut up. Anakin, help me. I'm too weak. Anakin, I told you it would come to this. Oh, okay, they brought out the Yoda. Alright. Moves and counter moves it is. Back to Grievous. Anakin Skywalker. I was expecting someone with your ready. Fuck. Hi, Yoda. I'm not Palpatine anymore. See ya. Come on. What? Big boy. Back it up. I'm an unstoppable force of nature right now. Come on, eat this. Eat all of it. Eat it all. Kenobi, your wardrobe change will not save you. Who's next? General Skywalker. My thrust surge works now. They updated it while I was gone. Come on. Eat it all. Why, your son? You want your son to die? You run away, little bitch. Keep pushing. There you go. Eat it all. I just tore ass that whole game. I still got it. New map.
The girl, she's here.
Mom, uncle, dad, grandfather.
But where is the girl?
This is for trying to kill me in my sleep while you were out of character. Mom, stop. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends.
Where is the girl? Obi-Wan Kenobi. Close enough. Take your shirt off. Let me get a good look at your ass. She's here. I can smell her.
It's so fucking creepy. The girl!
The moment you stabbed me with my own lightsaber, I knew we were meant to be.
Get this little green midget off my grandfather! I haven't died yet.
The girl was here. Aw.
First place again. This is why I'm a professional. Well. It's today's featured sand claiming. Never interrupt my combo. If you like the video, I'll mail you an oppression grenade. It's tradition. Where is it? Hello? What's going on here now? You can't do this. To me. I started this meme. You know how much I sacrificed? Join me and let us say goodbye to the game. First try, damn it, I wanted to be under public behavior commando. And it's an extra lot of shit. Come on, solution. Come on. Nope. Definitely not fishing. It's a killing solution, not a solution. This time though, I gotta get feeling. Winning, finally got it. Damn it, I'm on the separate ship. Oh, the beach on solution. I'll put ship on public solution, but we'll get there. Fully blue, the map's covered in blue. Obi-Wan, my high ground has doubled since you last met Jedi. Oh, damn, we're on the last phase. If they kill the objective, I'm not even gonna step foot on solution. Stop them! This grenade guns, and that's exactly what I'm doing. It's trolling at time. Oh, where have I gone? Wait, failure, my old friend. Oh, you brought a buddy with you. Hi, what's your name? Hello, Mr. G. Wow, look, it's Solution in the background. Awesome. Finally, I'm on the Republic side. I can see this glorious close commando in this empty fucking lobby. Someone's going. Here's the beginning of this lobby, Buster Jack. We are brothers. We will stay here until the lobby fills up so we can finally play. Thank you for... You son of a... Stop. You can bring back the Davy crates? I pledge myself to your team. I'll play this game on the booth and Solution will be the next match. I'll consider it an investment. What fresh hell is this? Oh, Spawn Commandos! They look so cool. Their fighters like cool, so pricey. Awesome. Adding Republic dogs, elite drone units. Formidable, but no match for the power of the dark side. Oh, it's Darth Maul! Whatever. Master likes me better. You wandered into the wrong street, cold boy. This hood's full of clankers. The dark side has no equal. Its power knows no limits. That's a tank. The dark side is no match for a fucking tank. Run! How could you shoot the devil in the back? What if you miss? Nah, I got it. You jump and trick. Oh, shit. Fuck. I sense great fear in you, Skywalker. You have hate. You have anger. But you don't use it. Yeah, run away, pussy bitch boy. Why are you here? I was hoping for Kenobi. Hi, what's up? It's me! Elite clones my ass! Keep contesting that hallway, boys. I have a plan. The Master Flank. They never expect the Master Flank! Oh no, what have I done? Wait, no, parlay. This is a terrible idea. Victory! Look at this. Half their team left because they can't be the commandos anymore, and then new players who join and realize that they also can't be commandos leave. What is this small dick energy? I'm not ashamed of this. Awesome! For the Republic! Hopefully it doesn't turn into anything bad. The Clankers are making an advance on Zone T! Oh! Got him! Oh! I almost lost my life as soon as I got it. What am I, a fetus? Holy boys on the head! You're not master flanking me today, no sir. Heavy ordnance is ready! Come. This is the most badass diaper I have ever seen. Oh god, oh fuck, it's a super battle droid. That was significantly less difficult than in Republic Commando. I had a flashback when I saw him. Another one. Not today, Franco, right? Not today. Trandoshan! An elegant weapon for a more civilized time. Well, times have changed. Commando droid, meet the superior commando. Oh shit. Ooh, why am I rolling? Jump! Come on the fucking thing! How am I alive? How am I alive right now? Oh, okay. You should start calling yourself Super Battle Droid. I love that they come with their grenade launchers. Whoa! Oh, what are you trying to do, huh? Look at him rolling into the battlefield. He's so excited. You cannot escape death. Death wears a space diaper. Follow me, man, and together we will crush the separatist forces. That's a kill zone. Where are you going? That's a kill zone, you idiot. Fuck this choke point. Follow me, boys. We're going for the master flank. Heavy ordnance. Get ready for some multi-kills. That's disappointing. There's a marshmallow launcher. Where's the kill? Okay, here we go. Guys, come on. Remember your training. One clone commander per corner. Fuck off. Commando droid, we meet again. You think you can outloo me? No! Victory belongs to the Republic. What an amazing victory screen. Imagine showing someone in 2017 that this is what Battlefront 2 is now. I'm on the Republic team. It's Solution. Is this a fever dream? Whoa. New maps. Oh, I love this skybox. Oh. I don't even want to play. I'm with you, men. We'll storm the hill together. Oh, pretty environment. Look at this water stream. Hey, welcome back to Clone Boy Vlog guys, today I am on vacation in this exotic planet. No zone is lost if there is but one fool left to fight for it. Yeah, the zone's definitely lost. What? Shrek took a big dump. That's enough ogling at the map. Time to die. May my justice be swift. Obi-Wan! Hell yeah, my justice was swift. And quite sexy. Whoa, what is going on with my screen? They did not optimize this map for vehicles at all. Oh, I can barely shoot. I'm not even moving. I'm perfectly still. I'm gonna pass out if I look at this any longer. How am I even getting kills right now? My tank's just spazzing out. Well. It is a general grievance. Here's some general of destroyed arms killed by a tank with correct. But if I can't deal with this green thing, I'm just gonna park right here. Turn on the radio. Oh, I know. What if I just slowly move? Look, my screen's not shaking. This can work. I just have to hope that no one shoots at me. It's so fun. The only one here is holding this drone down. That's all I can do. My screen shakes like crazy if I move. Hey, my screen's not going crazy. I think the problem fixed itself. It's wobbling a little bit, but it's not as bad as earlier. Tank fight! You can't aim down. The terrain favors me. What are you gonna do, huh? Surrender to your high advantage instead of fleeing. So you have no reason to death. What did you say? Who's this guy? What's going on? What's going on, DJ Dan? What kind of production are you running? Ooh, pretty hard. Very nice. Oh, it's getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. It's the houses from that Fillmore's episode. I forgot which season it was, but I remember the design. And you can go in. That's sick. Holy shit. Walls. You can shoot out of it. It's a power position. It actually flows over the neck. Trust me, I know map design. I was a foreigner in Halo. And I don't mean to brag, but I had two maps in Halo maps. So I'm pretty legit. Hey, someone made me a subreddit if you want to join and shit post with your fellow band plan. Hey there, General Skywalker. Your robes are looking a little red there. Almost like you're turning to the dark side. Back away. Fuck it! Dark fuck! Get away! Ooh, damage. Do it again! Oh, it is I, Anakin Skywalker. The epic. Oh, what's this? Fresh fucking food? Oh shit! What a terrible idea! That's the Obi-Wan I did that. Your hour days are over! Well, if it isn't a rolling, boys. Roll your way to hell. Or you testing me? The win button is a pathway to many of those. Yeah! In honor of the daily content that I haven't played yet. Oh, well, after that, I need to. You guys got this. Come on, you gotta walk through it. Alright. Follow me. Which one? Alpha, I had a dream. Caleb, run. Okay, here. One. Haven't done that in a while. Oh, sweet, that shirt design I sent you on Twitter. Oh, I know, right? Higher, Caleb, higher! It's the highest you can go to line. Come on! I'm not even going to attempt that. If you could put one swear word in the say Dale. Stand still.
No, not aggressively good.
Drive!
Get on.
Drive!
What?
Oh.
Oh, I go at full speed.
No, stop it.
Oh, the boss looking at us like, what the hell?
Where you going, Charles? Where you going, man? Don't run, man. Jesus Christ, get me out of here. They're everywhere. Covered in sand. The worst day of my life.
No, you can actually see it. No, you can see it. I didn't see it.
Gary, like Pennywise eyes there. Wonderful. You're wonderful.
You want your foot in Darth Maul?
Oh, get out of there! Don't listen to Pennywise! There's no hood and balls, guys. Fucking dead.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh my god!
Oh my
Oh my god!
No.
Oh, look at that one in here! I am not going in behind you again, old man! Oh god, this Yoda's gonna kill me. I will not go again,
I don't think that Yoda is the bad guy.
What's the situation, Gatorade? Oh, this is so chaotic.
Get him away.
I can't sleep anymore. I'm going from room to room.
Go to hell.
Yoda!
Almost Captain America.
Oh, what? You think you're gonna get through this door? You think you're gonna get through this door? Oh, God! It's a burning commander! Like the video and I'll send you D3 Zanny's latest mixtape. Thank yourself. If the no name FDA reports flag your husband. Hershey's cookies and cream. The sweetest around ever.
Alright, yesterday was all positivity, it was all good stuff, it was all let's talk about how fantastic the Vancouver Canucks are, or at least two players in the Canucks, Miller and Pettersson. But hey, in this video we're snapping back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, as we talk about some of the trade rumors that have been discussed when it comes to the players we discussed yesterday. Okay, players, not players, because Pettersson is not in any trade rumors, at least that I'm aware of, which is a pretty good thing. Instead, we're focusing on JT Miller because this was another angle that had been highlighted by Elliot Friedman on the Jeff Merrick Show that we had not talked about on the channel just yet. So, our scoop comes, as we said, from the Jeff Merrick Show on the radio. This is what Friedman had to say about JT Miller and another potential team that could potentially be involved. The LA Kings. They were in on Tyler Toffoli. I feel bad. Almost every day I do this. They're another team. I wonder if they have talked to Vancouver about what Vancouver has got there. They're looking for a scorer. Now, before we read the next part, I will say this. When it comes to the Tyler Toffoli trade from Montreal to Calgary, correct me if I'm wrong, but we actually did have some word that LA was involved in those talks before the trade was actually finalized. Like, before Montreal pulled the trigger with Calgary, we did hear pretty extended word that LA was trying to get Toffoli back. I was debating as to whether or not we would actually make a video about that, but I don't think that came to fruition. We came up with a whole bunch of Tyler Toffoli and the Flames videos, and then the actual one was, oh, he got traded. Wow, all the rumors were true. But Elliot on the Kings talking about how they're also still looking for a scorer, and JT Miller may be that type of guy, does have me intrigued. Now, Elliot did add that Blake prefers not to give up more than he did for Victor Arvidsson. Obviously, that wouldn't be enough for JT Miller. Arvidsson was traded, if you remember this, from a year ago, to LA in exchange for a second and third. That's it. 2 draft picks for Victor Arvidsson, and to be fair, he actually is doing pretty well. So, I mean, a third and a second for a guy in the NHL who this season has posted up 34 points in 45 games? Yeah, that's great. Now, I know there were some extenuating circumstances that made Arvidsson worth a lot less than he probably could have gone for because the Nashville Predators were going through a different transition of this type of player, but still, before we proceed with this any further, I wanted to make one more little quip. If Rob Blake did not want to go out there and spend more than a second and a third for a score, then okay. That is absolutely why he didn't get to Foley. That is why he went to Calgary instead. Look at the package the Flames gave up to get Tyler Toffoli from Montreal. First, Emil Heineman, all this stuff. It's a lot. And if Rob Blake's ultimate plan was to try to acquire a scorer, whether that's Tyler Toffoli, whether that's Tracy Miller or whatever, and try to give up the same or less than what you gave up for Arvidsson, you're not going to go out there and get anybody. The second and the third is not going to cut it on this trade market, especially with Tyler Toffoli setting the market for the rest of these rental forwards. Actually, scratch that, Toffoli's not a rental. He's signed on for a few more years. So even just regular forwards. So already, I'm kind of skeptical about JT Miller and the LA Kings, mostly because Rob Blake seems a little bit unwilling to actually shell out a decent return in the Vancouver Canucks. We've already talked about this before, especially yesterday. They don't feel like they need to trade Miller. They can hold on to this guy, they can trade him later, they can trade him next year, they can trade him in the offseason, they can do a whole bunch, or they can just re-sign him if they really wanted to do that. So there definitely isn't any desperation to go out there and make a JT Miller trade should you believe that is where the team should go. Now, I get it, a lot of people are starting to jump onto the, okay, I don't really want to trade Miller anymore train because of the 4-point night, because of the fact that he's a top 10 point scorer in the NHL right now. There's a lot of good things going on with Miller, but if we were to explore the idea of a trade, Cam Robinson has our back. He says this: if you want to talk about an organization that has a wealth of high-end prospects to take them, it's the LA Kings. Right-handed defensemen, Faber and Clark are serious. Helga Grant ain't bad either. Center with upside, Alex Turcotte remains intriguing. Ditto for Kupari. If you want a sniper, there's Parker Kaliyev as well. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Out of all the teams that we have seen talking about JT Miller, okay, you're talking about the Boston Bruins, you're talking about the Calgary Flames, the Minnesota Wild, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the LA Kings are the ones with the best prospect core by far. You talk about all the guys that they have in their pipeline, and it's kind of scary that this team is like, what, second in the Pacific right now, and they still have so much star power in the pipeline ready to develop and prosper in the next 5 years. All these guys are probably going to be NHL talents, or in some capacity, they could be NHL talents, and you're talking about a completely different conversation when you discuss JT Miller over to LA versus JT Miller over to Boston or over to Minnesota. Compared to LA, they're arguably one of the best prospect cores in the entire National Hockey League. So when I think about JT Miller and the trade price potentially being like a first and a top prospect and another roster player, I'm not going to lie, man, the first name that pops into my mind is Brad Clark. And I know a lot of Kings fans have turned their backs on me because I said that sentence. I'm very grateful for the fact that Kings fans have been so receptive and warm and welcoming every time I make a video talking about your team, but this, in my mind, is just how I evaluate JT Miller. He is that gosh darn good. Rob Blake is probably not going to do that. He's probably not going to go out there and trade Brad Clark. But if you want to go out there and try to hypothesize, yes, there you go, that's the word I was looking for. Hypothesize what a Miller trade could look like should you get this done under Vancouver terms. This is kind of what you're thinking about. I'm thinking of first round pick, I'm thinking Brad Clark, I'm thinking maybe somebody else to fill in the roster spot that Miller leaves behind. Because Vancouver needs right defensemen. Like, I'm sorry, Tyler Myers, Tucker Pullman, these guys are not cutting it. Travis Hamonic, they're not cutting it. On the left, we have Quinn Hughes, Jack Rathbone, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now, OEL is only there by default because his contract is so gosh darn long. Not necessarily he's there because he's the best option of whoever else the Canucks can have on their left side. But for the right side, it's just like Jet Wu, whom we're still waiting to really hit that stride in the Abbey Canucks system. And then the other players, Tucker Pullman, Travis Hamonic, Tyler Myers, like, I'd be lying if I said I was super happy with this decor. And so for right-side defenseman prospects, Brad Clark is the guy that's at the top of my list. Obviously, I mean, I would understand why LA Kings fans would not want to see him go, though. Then you talk about Helden Bronze and Brock Faber. Faber has been really good. Like, I'm really surprised to see how good Brock Faber has been ever since graduating from the NTGP. He played at the Olympics, man. Like, he was an Olympic athlete. So, good for him going out there for Team USA and getting himself an assist. But a super solid defenseman for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. He's a great skater. He's a guy that I think absolutely does have a pretty good ceiling, even though he doesn't really produce all too much. Helden Bronze is a lot more defensive in my viewing, but he certainly is an intriguing right-side defensive prospect as well. Plus, he's only 19 years old, so there's a lot more development time to go with this guy. Big player playing well in the AHL so far. There definitely is a lot more to be desired in the next few years, though, so we'll see where the development goes. But I mean, you're talking about right-side defensemen, this is kind of what I'm thinking about the most. I know Cam Robinson went out there and labeled a second Kaliev, like, there's no way the other teams are giving up Kaliev. Actually, I don't know. Maybe Kaliev is in the same value territory as a Brad Clark is, where they're the same level of untouchable, I guess. But either way, if you're an LA Kings fan, put one in the comments, would you actually go out there and make a trade for JT Miller, a top 10 point producer in the NHL right now? He's got another year at $5-something million. He's cheap, he's valuable, he works very hard, and he has been the best Vancouver Canucks forward, consistency speaking, in the last few years. Even this season, under Travis Green, he was still producing a ton, and everybody kind of stopped under Travis Green. So, is it a Faber? Is it a Clark? Is it a Helden Bronze? Is it any of these snipers like Kaliev or a center like Turcotte? Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about the JT Miller idea over here. Elliot Friedman just kind of went out there and dropped this bomb. He said it in the tweet as well. I feel bad.
Orally organic bread is made with organic ingredients, grown in a way that may help make the soil richer and promote biodiversity. Oral wheat organic. Sustainability never tasted so good.
When we take the time to hear different voices, it helps us find our own.
The demolition of Children's Arena will symbolize a lot of things for the Red Wings. The farewell to the legends they're playing, the banners of glory hanging in its rafters, and the revered aura of the stadium itself. But to me, it symbolizes one thing: the official end of the Red Wing Empire. Don't get me wrong, this empire has long been dead. Over the past few years, the organization has been desperately trying to keep up the facade of the former glory that it had instead of recognizing its flaws. It's a franchise merely existing in a vegetative state, like Rome before it. The Red Wings are an entity merely siphoning whatever reputation it had for the sake of its immediate and long-term future. Anything to remind themselves of their glory in the mid-2000s. The constant over-reliance on scouting Thunder King Colton Anderson, plotting out the same old stars they had years ago in a famed attempt to be competitive, but they still are forward-thinking. They promoted from within to replace Mike Babcock with Jeff Flacco, one of the more revered coaching prospects in the league at the time of his hire. Unfortunately, to say he sucks is a total understatement. Red Wings fans wanted Bennett to win here on a daily basis. To be fair, I don't think they even want him. Their postseason streak finally was put to an end after last year's abysmal season, but their legendary status was long of a distant memory. Their so-called promising stars are either not as good as hyped to be, stagnated in development, or regressed so badly that they didn't score a goal until the final game of the season. Ken Holland now runs an organizational train wreck with a bleak present in the future. But where did everything go wrong? How did one of the league's model organizations become such a joke? For this, we have to find the moment that began the decline of the empire. If you are familiar with TV jargon, there is a term called jumping the shark. It's when a show has that moment when it begins its downward spiral into cancellation. The term is named for the show Happy Days, where the Fonz literally jumps the shark, a moment which began the show's sharp decline in quality. This thinking can be translated into the sports realm as well. Some moments are easy to identify, like the 49ers firing Jim Harbaugh, the Islanders with the John Spano saga, James Dolan becoming majority owner of the Knicks, Canucks fans rioting after losing Game 7 of the finals in 2011. For the Red Wings, it doesn't have to do with Doc Silver retiring. It doesn't have to do with Babcock leaving either. The man is a great coach, but he hasn't taken the Wings anywhere in a while, and his use of concussions are, shall we say, Neanderthalian. For this, we have to go back to the last decade. During this time, they had a rising star in the managerial world as their vice president. You may have heard of him. His name is Steve Eisenman, legendary player of the organization, beloved by ownership and the fan base, slowly learning the ways of the Empire, helping better adapt to the new NHL world. It was eventually realized that Eisenman was the future, and he should become the team's emperor as soon as possible. This is when the franchise agent Mike Gillis went to Ken Holland and asked him to move to a higher position away from day-to-day operations. Ken Holland, of all people, knows loyalty. He will reward the team that turned him into a legend. He refused to budge.
Right there! That is the moment when the Red Wings organization got the job.
Of course, Illich isn't going to fire Holland for refusing to leave. The man has a stellar reputation, and the hockey world would have been outraged at his decision. And to replace him with a guy who has minimal experience, the feathers of the boys' club would have been ruffled. Nothing was done. Eisenman, sensing that his time would not come with the Wings, despite his love for the organization, accepted GM position with the Lightning. But the Red Wings were still in good hands. Holland was one of the league's best GMs throughout the late 90s and 2000s. The Empire will continue to reign supreme. Remember when the Wings had Boya Domney and Bernie Federico for that 1 year? It's time to bring back the magic. Mike Modano, lead us to glory. Not producing is aging rapidly, but still producing? Extend him. Nicholas Broadwell is one of our legends. It's time for a nice reward. 7-year contract on a $4.7 million cap hit. That's a little investment don't fall off of the cliff, right? I mean, look at the contract we gave to Zetterberg. $6 million cap hit until he's 40. What a stud. We have the new heir to Lidstrom. Ian White sucks too. Not like he shit on Batman or anything, Ed. Yeah, we need to fund the prospects to make the team. I don't know about. Remember that Kyle Quincy guy we told to fuck off a few years ago? Turns out he stood down. Let's reacquire him for a first-round pick. That pick turned out to be Andre Vasilevsky. This must be reparation for refusing to fund Eisenman. It's okay, let's sign Quincy to an extension. In fact, we're on a spending spree. Jimmy Howard is our rock. Have some money for 6 years, boy. Jim Nill is a Red Wing for life. He will never leave us. That Modano signing worked out so well for us that we need to bring in another legend. Even better, a Swede. Danny Alfredson, baby! We locked up Johan Franzen to a nice 11-year deal. This won't backfire on us. Nope, not at all. We now have the future replacement for Depto, Stephen White. The hell do you mean he gets injured a lot? Some Wisconsin has to be bought out. Get out of here with that garbage. And Cleary has settled into organizational cheerleader very nicely. Let's overpay him for another year. And again. Jonathan Erickson is a nice third-pairing defenseman nearing the end of his prime. Let's overpay the shit out of him. And have a complimentary no-trade clause is the trouble. We need to keep the streak alive at all costs. Time to trade for washed-up David Laquan. The streak is alive! We need to keep the streak alive at all costs. Time to trade for washed-up Eric Cole. The streak lives! We need another old man because our prospects haven't gestated for 5 years yet. Brad Richards, come on down. Benjamin Slipper, huh? Well, how about Mike Green? He does things. Have a shitload of money. The glorious streak continues with one playoff win. A brilliant send-off for Dutson. Time to reward our great players. Justin Applegator is really starting to develop to a nice top six anchor. It's time for the local boy to get a payday. 7-year extension at a $4.2 million captain. Fucking Applegator? We can't have Darren Temp leave. Who will be your assistant leader on injured reserve? $4 million for 5 years to do it. Now we have the replacement for that stuff. 32-year-old Franz Nielsen. He made the All-Star team, though. Home of the umpire. Danny boy, just write a number on this blank check with the number of years you want. How about no trade clause, too? Luke Glendening is a nice find as a fourth liner. And you signed him to a floated extension. Luke Miller is still here. Didn't he get cut a few years ago? And the streak is over. Danny Del Real